Welcome to another episode of The Pickpocket. Here at The Pickpocket, we utilize the NBA category in the Fanduel app to help you win money. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and also be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. What on earth are you waiting for? And happy Wednesday. Mock lineup. If you are new to the channel, feel free to use 90% of a mock lineup that we provide for you guys, and then substitute players where you see fit to get your own taste for your own lineup, but pretty much just use our lineup as a base. Lonzo Ball was underwhelming last game. He should come back well against Chicago. Chicago allows the foremost fantasy points to point guards. The pace should be high, and that feeds into his game perfectly. Shooter started off rocky, and he had a ridiculous fourth quarter and an overtime quarter. What in the world? Wow. Overtime quarter. It's something about playing former teams, especially when they aren't playing well, that motivates players to play even more. Or that motivates players even more. Van Vliet is almost a must-have. Washington allows a blistering 40 fantasy points to shooting guards. He averages 40 anyway, and he has been consistently balling. Expect that to continue for this scoring machine, who also dishes out a good number of assists. Herter played well versus Dallas last time out. His scoring and unusual high number of assists help. Don't expect that crazy assist number, but he starts, plays good minutes, and sees his fair share of shots. Chris Middleton will be without Holiday again, and he popped off last game. Phoenix is ranked number 1 in FDP allowed to small forwards. We are basing this pick on the fact that if Milwaukee wants to win this game, he would need to be ultra aggressive and do everything. Temple is simple, your fill-in. Good minutes, good game for him to get good FDP. Ibaka is a big. Minnesota allows bigs to have their way. The Clippers will be without Paul George. Good option with low risk. Porzingis should have his way again against Atlanta. Valanciunas continues to impress. His scoring and rebounds are great. Hitter per position lineup. LaMelo Ball is starting, and that's huge for him lately. His price has skyrocketed for a good reason. His numbers since starting range around 15 points, 6 or 7 boards, and 5+ assists, and a steal a game. That's good for no less than 30 FDP, which he's had or better since January 27th. McConnell is like the guy you don't want to pick, but when you get almost 10 points and 10 assists from him, it's tough. He's a great value pick. And he does this coming off the bench, which is crazy. Getting 10 assists coming off the bench. Powell is still hot. Ride this hot streak. Correcting our language from the previous video when we said ride it like it's hot. Hardaway won't blow you away by any means. Unless you realize he doesn't get under 20 FDP, Atlanta is allowing the 6th most in the league, and he can do more than just score. Ingram versus Chicago, worth the price you'll pay. If he doesn't get at least his average, it would mean he either got hurt or in foul trouble. His 24 PPG and 6 rebounds a game and 5 assists per game make the case. Bridges has played well all season. We like Phoenix to compete in this game, and that means his rebounds, steals, and assists will play a role in that. Sabonis versus Brooklyn. Look, we said last night Brooklyn may score high, but they defend like it's a walkthrough. Brooklyn is off a back-to-back loss to Detroit and gave up 122 points. Kuzma is playing against a bad OKC team and did well last game. We like him to repeat the same success. A little bit of everything in the stat sheet. Zubac is playing Minnesota. Only team worse at allowing FDP to centers is Memphis. 2 most expensive lineup. You got Luka and you got the Joker. Doncic is always a threat for a 30-point triple-double, with such high usage. Jokic has to do everything for them to be good, for them to win. We've scouted games on the inbound. There isn't a guard in sight, He pushes the ball and he's directing traffic. If he has anything less than his usual numbers, they risk getting hammered. And if he doesn't really get his usual numbers, it's usually because he's in foul trouble or, something like that. Jackson is here because Paul George is out, and he's solid at the point guard spot for them. He finds his points while also facilitating well. Bryn Forbes starts the holiday as a sniper. He's very reliant on his scoring for a good FDP. We think he's capable of doing it. Brown had a good game versus his old team. Indiana will be a tougher challenge. We have him in here because we needed a lot of value after using the top salary guys. If Harden or Kyrie sit, he would be a good pick as he pushes to point 2. Gordon Hayward has been solid for 25 boards and 5 assists. That's at least a 30 FDP night, which he's been good for. Memphis allows the 5th most as well. Kenrich Williams is yet another value player and played well last game. OKC is dealing with players in and out the lineup, so expect some decent FDP regardless the score. Portis is here because Phoenix is allowing the second most FDP to power forwards, and John Collins is playing well lately, averaging close to a double-double. Stop what you're doing right now and subscribe to the channel. A lot of you guys have been watching but not subscribing. It's like, no, I don't really know that, but if I find that out, I'm coming to find you, man. Player per game lineup: 9 spots, 9 games. We tried to fill each spot with a player who had high usage, good minutes, produces consistency, good matchup versus that position, and who's expected to do well regardless of the matchup. Basically, if they are in here, we think they will be top 5 in FDP in that game. So be sure to look at these players here. Good matchup lineup. This lineup is meant to show you who has the best matchups tonight at each position, meaning the opposing team ranks bottom of the league in FDP allowed. You can sub them with teammates who are cheaper as well, like Van Vliet and Powell. Be sure to look at this lineup also. Alright, the rest of this presentation, you're going to see these symbols. These symbols are going to do the explaining for you. The definition of these symbols are going to do the explaining for you. So be sure to come back to this page, or you can take a picture with your phone so it's easy to follow along. Cheat sheet. You got McConnell, Bridges, and Zeller. McConnell is sneaky good. He subs in and sneaks you for like 10 points and 10 assists or close to it with several rebounds. Bridges is playing well lately and still a value option. He's significantly cheaper than most options for Charlotte. Zeller, like Bridges, is playing well and cheap still. He has a tough matchup, but that hasn't stopped him lately. Alright, cheat sheet, game stack. Charlotte versus Memphis. LaMelo Ball can swap for Rozier or Morant. Hayward can swap for Bridges. Valanciunas can swap for Zeller. The 4 players we think will score the highest FDP in this game. Surrounded by solid options with 2 hitters, Zion and Sexton, and 3 value players who should see good FDP. Comment what game stack you want for Thursday. Most thumbed up or mention will be it. We want you to choose. This is the end of the presentation. Be sure to like the video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. Comment any questions or concerns you may have. And thank you for choosing another episode. Thank you for choosing another episode of the Pickpocket DFS.